Good day. It's great to be back with everybody and to talk a little bit about what's happening here at St. Luke's this week. Today, I'm joined by Mike Busby, our pastoral intern. We're the normal duo at these particular conversations, but we have a special guest with us this week, and that's someone who everybody knows at St. Luke's, and that is Jerry Mears, our director of youth ministries here at St. Luke's. Jerry and Mike have been leading confirmation for the last 2 years. You have done a fantastic job with these students. And so we just thought tonight we would ask them to kind of bring us up to speed on confirmation ministry. How many, how the students doing, what grades are they in, when do you meet? Has the shelter in place thing made any difference in terms of how you're doing things? So Jerry, how many kids are coming to these confirmations classes?
Hello, Dick and everybody. We've been getting pretty good turnout. We had some weeks off as we figured out how to handle confirmation. We've had confirmation class on Sunday evening the last 2 weeks. We'll have another class this week via Zoom meetings. And we've been getting 17 to 18 7th and 8th graders. So basically, we've gotten almost all of the 7th and 8th graders on each of the Zooms. We've been quite thrilled with the turnout for that.
So before you were doing the Zoom stuff, Jerry, where were you meeting before that?
Oh, we were meeting Sunday mornings. We have class. The 7th and 8th graders are separated at St. Luke's on Sunday morning. And then in the evening, on Sunday evenings, Mike and I had class, so the youth would gather at 5:30. Each week, a different family provides dinners, so we share a meal together, and then some time just to chat and settle in with each other, and then we have a discussion and lesson each night.
Super. Hey, Mike, so what, Jerry's kind of described the structure of these confirmation meetings. What's some of the things that you're teaching the kids?
Yeah, so at St. Luke's, we use a 2-year program. And so 1 year, we really focus in on kind of the scriptures. We use a book called Manna and Mercy by Pastor Dan Erlander, who's a Lutheran, in ELCA Lutheran pastor out in the Pacific Northwest. And that's just been an excellent resource really for us. This year, though, we're kind of looking at catechism, looking what it means to be Lutheran, according to Martin Luther, according to our confessions. And then also recently we've been taking a look at the social statements of the ELCA, and so placing ourselves within the larger Lutheran context, and then specifically looking what it means to be an ELCA Lutheran. So that's been just a fantastic experience and a lot of wonderful conversation between the youth and Jerry and myself, and just some really great questions that come from our youth and very applicable to our lives today.
Super. So what do you guys do? Is it just strictly the classroom, or are you doing things, are there expectations of kids outside the classroom?
We do some activities outside of classrooms. This year, some of the youth took part in a trip to Feed My Starving Children. We got a pretty large group to do that in the fall. We tried to do it again when the virus crisis started. It was a very small group, but people did show up, and we had a wonderful night of packing and far exceeded what Feed My Starving Children thought would be accomplished. We also made a trip to the South Loop Ministries, where we helped serve a dinner to homeless individuals and participate in the evening, sharing, sitting at tables with people, not just being there to serve, but to actually get to know people and share conversations. Mm-hmm. Another activity we did, we had a lock-in this winter with a movie night and discovered the favorite game of the night turned out to be hide and go seek. The youth loved having a chance to just explore and wander the church. And kudos to Mike, he managed to hide 2 out of 3 times without being found. So
I'm really coming to know the church. I'm really coming to know the church. What can I say?
That's great. That's great. So what has changed in the way since we've been sheltering in place, Mike? I know you're Zooming these classes now. is it about the same? You're obviously not eating together. What are you doing?
Yeah, yeah, and I think one of the things that we really missed was our 8th grade retreat was scheduled for Palm Sunday this year, and because of the coronavirus, the COVID-19 pandemic, we had to cancel that. And so every year we have a retreat for everyone in the fall time, but then the 8th graders have their own retreat in the springtime. And so we both missed that alongside, the chaperones who are going to be joining us and the youth as well. So that's a real kind of sad mark for us this year, as that's a really wonderful opportunity just to connect with the 8th graders, prepare them for confirmation, which is supposed to be this upcoming weekend. We'll talk a little bit about that. But that's changed as well since the shelter in place. We'll continue to connect with the youth over the upcoming weeks through a variety of ways. Whether it's the structured confirmation classes or possibly doing Sunday morning check-ins, etc. So those are kind of, it's obviously the shelter in place has interrupted our schedule, but looking at ways that we can continue to support the youth during this time, because they need it just as much as the rest of us. I think that's a real concern that Jerry and I have been hearing from them is looking for meaningful ways that they can connect with each other during this pandemic, as their lives are just as interrupted as ours.
So Mike was mentioning, Jerry, that this would have been confirmation weekend coming up. Have we made any decisions about what we're going to do about the actual confirmation service?
What we did, Dick, was we sent out an email and had conversations with some of the parents to see what dates might work. Not knowing when things will open back up with the virus, we're looking towards the latter part of the summer or fall. There was a suggestion, and I sent out an email just today to parents to see if Sunday, August 30th will work for confirmation. I've asked everyone to let me know if that works for them or not. If we can find a day that works for the vast majority or everyone, then we'll set that date and hope that we're able to all be together by that point in time. If we find that there are people who can't make that date, but the majority can, then we may look at doing a second date for confirmation to make sure everyone gets a chance to be publicly recognized and share their confirmation. We're not quite sure yet what else we want to do. We'd like to do something to at least make up a little bit for the missed retreat, whether it be possibly an 8th grade retreat later in the summer or early fall, or some other weekend activity where the kids can spend some time and just have a special time, because I think that retreat, that's always my favorite. We typically accomplish a lot of work getting ready for confirmation class or for the service, but it's also a time for the youth to bond with each other and have some special time. They've gone through 2 years of working together, and it's a time for them just to share and be friends. So I think it would be wonderful if we can find some way to do that this year.
That's great. And tell us just briefly about what's going on in high school ministry. Are we going on a mission trip this summer?
We will, unfortunately, we were hoping to do a mission trip at the end of July. With the way the situation has turned out, we just don't think that's possible this year. So we won't be doing a mission trip for 2020. However, the youth gathering is scheduled for 2021. It's the last part of June up through July 3rd. So we will be putting out information and encouraging people to sign up. It will be open to all the youth who are currently 7th grade through our current 11th grade youth. And it's a great trip. It's a unique experience. I hope we can get a lot of families on board. And so we'll be doing fundraising this fall to try to, and winter, trying to make the trip much more affordable for everyone. It will be in Minneapolis. It's the first time, to my knowledge, that it's been that far north, and it should be a relatively easy trip for us. We'll be able to drive there. So
that's fantastic. And I'll tell you what, Jerry, I was just in the new kitchen a couple of days ago. You are going to have a blast doing some spaghetti dinners and other kind of things. The kitchen is gorgeous. So I can't wait for you guys to be doing some fundraisers and bringing us all back together when we can do it again.
It will be exciting to be able to work in the kitchen. It's been a long time since we've been able to do a fundraiser where we can actually be in a kitchen and cooking and things. So that'll be an
Absolutely.
exciting thing.
That'll be
Thanks,
great.
Jerry. Mike, how the Bible study is going?
Yeah.
I didn't get a steak fajita. I thought maybe you were going to bring some over, but you're going to do more cooking class this week?
Physical distancing. Remember, physical distancing. Yeah, so last week I shared a recipe for stripped steak tacos. So hopefully people enjoyed that during the devotional. Cooking for me is a really spiritual practice as well, and I enjoy both cooking and delving deeper. This week we focused a little bit on art and the importance of art and how that shapes our understanding of the scriptures. So that will be up. I think it's already up on our YouTube, and so check that out. And as far as how long we'll be doing this, I'm hopeful at least until the middle of May. We'll continue with these devotionals, and then Pastor Johnson and myself will be in conversation to see what this could look like, and once we know more about how long the shelter in place will be in effect, and what our worship will look like for the next month and into June, we'll take an opportunity to reevaluate and see if there's another opportunity to engage with folks outside of these devotionals. So keep on the lookout for that, and you'll hear more information. But right now it's scheduled all the way through the middle of May.
Fantastic. And a great internship project. They've been very, very good. Very good.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been a real joy. Just for me, like I said, I bring this up a lot in my devotions. It's an opportunity for me to really delve deeper into my own spirituality and then invite people along that path with me. So I really enjoy it, and I hope people enjoy it as well. As I finish my internship, I know that we've started something in January with the decision to move forward with a call committee for a second pastor around children, youth, and family. So I'm wondering, Dick, if there's any updates around the call committee.
I'll tell you what, they have been working really hard. We've been regularly meeting throughout this whole pandemic time, and so they have completed the congregational profile, which is the major piece that then goes to the synod, and the synod uses that to kind of identify candidates that would be a good match for us. So that's all done. I'm actually turning that over to the council tonight. They're going to review it over the weekend, and we're going to be sharing it with the synod on Monday of this week, so this next week. So we're very excited about that possibility, because that then hopefully gets the wheels rolling so we can start interviewing sometime in mid-June is what our goal is.
Mm-hmm.
And next week, we are bringing the executive group of the call committee together for this conversation. They wanted to have a face-to-face with the congregation, tell a little bit more about what they're doing. So next week, we will have our two co-chairs as well as our communications person who will be kind of talking about the process that we've been through. Jerry, you're on the call committee. What have you thought about all that?
I think it's gone remarkably well. There's a great group of dedicated people there that are pushing hard to keep on a timeline despite all the issues and being sidetracked with the virus things and not being able to meet. So I think we're on a good timeline. I think there's a strong possibility that we may wind up being close to what we were looking at in January as a possible timeline for getting someone in. And on my part, I'm going to be trying to meet with the youth, and we're going to discuss their input to see what they might like to see also, so that they're represented as well. I'm not too sure that any of them did the survey, so we'll be looking at that also. It's been
Fantastic.
A really good group, and I agree it's a hard-working group there at the top.
That's exciting.
Well, Mike and Jerry, I want to thank you both for being with us tonight. There'll be a tear in my eye on Sunday morning at around 11 o'clock because this was the day that we were going to be confirming our students, and it's always a very special day at St. Luke's. But I know that we've got a lot of things planned, and it sounds like You have done incredibly well in adapting to this difficult situation, and in some respects, even bringing the kids together in a closer fashion, which is wonderful. And it just speaks volumes about both of you and what you've done and how you love these kids and how our students love you. So want to thank both of you for being with us today, sharing with us about youth ministry, which is an important element to our congregational life. Anyone else have anything to say? Mike?
Thanks for joining us, Jerry, on this talk, and looking forward once again, just connecting with you all next week as we continue these conversations. I'll be preaching this week, so I'm looking forward to that as well. And just a great worship service this upcoming week. In spite of the fact that we won't be confirming our youth, still just a wonderful worship service planned for this week. So looking forward to that.
Super. Well, Jerry, again, thanks for being here, and I think we'll sign off for now.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening.
Take care.
Thanks for your support. Thank you for being the wonderful congregation that you are, St. Luke's. We'll see you next week.